Don't know whether to feel happy or traumatized that I watched this, Mr. Guy. But I finally watched Chinatown. Merry Christmas. So Chinatown is a 1974 film noir. Stars Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway, and John Huston. It even has Burt Young in it, and I've only ever seen him in Rocky movies, so that was weird. It was good to see him in something else. It's also written by Robert Towne and directed by Robert Polanski. So yeah, it's and absolutely wonderful, beautiful music by Jerry Goldsmith. Wow, he can do any genre. He just can. The man's a master, and it is a very Chandler-esque kind of story. It feels like something you might read or see in adaptations of a Raymond Chandler novel. Uh, Jake Geddes, who is Jack Nicholson's character, is very Philip Marlowe-esque, I guess, in a way. And kind of the story and all that kind of follows those kinds of tropes in a good way. I feel like this is kind of a love letter to all of that stuff. And it does enough creative things with it to give things like a new spin and a new coat of paint. I'd never seen Chinatown before. Don't know why. Been recommended. I do know why. It's the director. But getting past that, if you're able to, what you get is a beautiful movie. In a way, it's wonderfully shot. The acting performances are fantastic. It's really, really dark and very fucking disturbing. By the end of it, I was just like so traumatized that I just had to get out of the house and do some like Christmas shopping or something, just to kind of clear my head a bit, because there's some heavy things in this movie. The gist is Jake Geddes is Geddes. I can't say it. Don't have. It's probably an Aussie thing. I don't feel like I'm getting the name right. So Jake, played by Jack Nicholson, great. Jack plays Jake. He's a private investigator, usually to see if you're being cheated on and stuff like that. But he kind of gets besmirched and decides to investigate why he was besmirched so, which leads him to this kind of racket involving water and the murder of someone who was a water expert and builds dams and things like that. And just the movie follows where the mystery takes him throughout the entire film. And I really liked his journey. It feels like a very authentic setting, like the attention to detail feels there. Now, I don't know. I wasn't there in 1939 in LA, but this just felt like it had all the little details. It's like the 1974 equivalent of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that kind of attention to detail. Except unlike Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, this movie's worth watching and is good. Now, I don't like that movie, I'm sorry. This is a movie I might never watch again, but I feel like it's a movie that I will always remember. So if there's someone who says to you, I don't know if I've seen Chinatown or not, they haven't. You'll remember this. There's some fucked up shit in it, and it's got an ending that is just amazing. It's emotionally heavy, but it's fitting for the kind of piece it's trying to tell. Like if it was a love letter to that kind of old noir, film noir stuff, then to give it a happy ending wouldn't be befitting, it wouldn't have worked. So I'm going to tear up a little piece of paper and then I'm going to tell you about my trauma, because this movie is a bit of a masterpiece. And yeah, it's a 9 out of 10. And you watch, Mr. Guy's going to be like, it's a 10, how dare you? Points off because it's who is very problematic for me. I wasn't sure if I wanted to cover a movie directed by him, but in all honesty, I illegally downloaded this movie, so I didn't have to give him any money. Allegedly. Alright, I'm going to talk about some stuff now. I know it's an old movie, But I feel like if you haven't seen it, you should experience it. So now I'm going to talk about some stuff. And I'm like, right, Mr. Guy, your second favorite movie better be something a little bit more uplifting. Man, I was so bummed out. It is an amazing and emotional ending. You find out Faye Dunaway has a daughter and a sister, and they're the same person. And you're just like, felt like the movie had taken a glass of water and just been like, whoosh, right in my face. Like, what? What? Which leads to a total 180 for Jake, when because he tries to do the right thing. He always tries to do the right thing, even if he's a bit of an asshole and things like that. Always tries to do the right thing, at least in terms of the law and stuff. And as soon as he finds this out, he does a complete 180 and tries to get, Faye Dunaway and her sister daughter out of Dodge. And away from the dad. Grant, I don't want to think about that. And just the implications of the ending and what happens when like the bad guys kind of win in this movie, which is a very noir-esque thing to happen. And because of that, the implications that arise from that, you're just like, wait, so this guy so Faye Dunaway dies, and the sister daughter ends up with the dad, and he wins, like he gets away with everything because he's just so rich and powerful. He owns the cops and stuff, and he just leads. Jack Nicholson's just led away by his team. Just go, just get out of here. There's nothing you can do. It's fucking heart wrenching. That's a gutting. I was gutted like finishing this movie. I was glad I watched it. It was amazing. It's a wonderful piece of cinema. It was fucking incredible. Jerry Goldsmith can do a lot of loud, bombastic music. I don't know why this isn't the spoiler section, but he can do some loud, bombastic kind of music, like Star Trek The Motion Picture and things like that. But here, it's very understated, which is something I really like. Really fit the movie well. This movie does things that old noir films couldn't. I guess nudity, swearing, and they can explicitly state things that would have to be alluded to in movies made in decades past, and things like that. Yeah, it's a good movie. So, here's a question for everyone. Do I watch The Two Jakes? Do I bother? Because I don't know how you do a sequel to this. It would have to be a completely different story, wouldn't it? I don't know. Do I do The Two Jakes? Yeah. Wow. I just wanted to do a nice Christmas present. Instead, I've put through the emotional ringer. I was like, holy crap.